Hello, and welcome back to the Fly High Podcast. I'm your host, Reese. I'm joined here with my co-host, Gavin Yost. Gavin, how's it going this morning?
Oh, it's going pretty good. It's a beautiful, handsome Tuesday.
Very handsome Tuesday.
Yeah.
Been a little bit while since we've been behind the mics, I won't lie.
Yeah, it is.
But we got a lot to wrap on this podcast today. As you can see, no guest here today. We are, I guess, a little bit of a guest. We are joining you from the comfort of Miss Roach's classroom. Miss Roach, say hi. She's right there.
Always giving us the honor of being in here. It's never a problem when we come in here to record.
Yeah, she's just a real person of the students. She just wants the students to excel at whatever they can. I mean, you don't see it this hour, but typically you see her in here giving just a ton of help to students whenever they need. I being one of those students, so
Yeah.
I am known to have Elge 2 kick my rear end a little bit. But I've been persevering throughout the year. Only got one more quarter left, so.
Yeah, I mean, I usually walk around here. I'm not really in any of the smart classes, so I wouldn't know, but I usually walk around and I always see people in here getting help for Alge 2 or
Oh, yeah.
all the other classes she does.
So quick shout out to Miss Roach, I guess. I mean,
Yep. Great help around
really,
the school.
a lot of students really appreciate what she does for everyone. And I mean, to go along with her great teachings, she's a great softball coach. And
Yeah.
I think, well, let's get into it right away. Fenimore softball starting out the season 2-0.
Ooh.
And not just 2-0, beating a very, very good team in Cuba City.
That's
mean,
good,
when
that's
you can
good.
come out and get a win like that, that early into the season, that's big for your team. The momentum is at an all-time high, and at that point, you just got to keep cruising.
Like they got the ball rolling really early, and it's just going to keep rolling.
It's going to keep rolling.
Never
It's
gonna
a snowball
stop.
effect. Just, and you know that there's going to be the players on that team that are just going to perform at all
Just
times.
hone in and really
Oh, yeah.
lock in and just win every game. I mean, play it to their best ability.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, we're recording this podcast on April 2nd, day after April Fool's Day. The referendum voting is happening today.
Ooh.
So, I mean, you won't see this on the day of the referendum, but
Yeah.
hopefully you guys voted for the referendum on if you want it or not, or what you want.
Yeah, we kind of need that. It'd be nice for the school.
Sports stuff.
Yeah, we need it really bad.
Bad. Bigger weight room. Not that I'll get to enjoy it, but for the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, for the future of kids,
For the kids.
future of Fenimore, you know.
Gavin, did we touch on the wrestling state championship last time we filmed? I don't know if we did.
I'm not sure.
I don't think we did. So just real quick, since it happened so long ago, everybody probably knows. Just another shout out to the Fenimore wrestling team claiming their
Fifth title.
fifth title. Isn't it third in a row though?
Third in a row for me.
Oh wow.
For me and class 2025.
That's just phenomenal. And now they're moving up to D2, so better competition hopefully, and
Yeah.
continuing to perform at the highest level is what we're hoping for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it can be good battle next year. I mean, D2 is going to be pretty different, change of people. You know, you're kind of going against different opponents, different teams, so it's going to be a fun year.
Should be. And then let's just get into it right away, Gavin. How was the spring break? Give us a breakdown of everything you did, and I'll go afterwards.
It was awesome. I mean, I didn't really go anywhere, but I stayed here. Weather was kind of bad, but just stuff happens, you know, and kind of got in the weekend, relaxed, did a little fishing.
Oh, it's fishing. I did go fishing for a couple hours.
I actually
one day.
caught
Let's see the fish.
a pretty big pike.
Oh wow! Look
Right
at
there.
that. That's a beautiful. Show the viewers.
Pretty big pike.
That is a huge fish.
Pretty proud about it.
I'm surprised you can even hold it with your hands. I mean, it's so big.
Yeah, I needed Dalton Wolf to help me wrangle that big baby in.
I went fishing. I was at my dad's house, and he's got a little pond next to his house. It's called the Arena Pond, and you can catch fish there. But I did not that day. I did, however, see a dead fish. It was quite large. It had little whiskers on the end. I don't know if I'm gonna assume it was a catfish, but it was actually it was like the size of a bass, but it wasn't anything.
It was probably a bluegill.
No, it wasn't a bluegill. I'm sure I had some bluegill bites. I was losing a lot of worms. I didn't really have any good lures for the day, so I just decided to go worm and bobber.
Yeah, that's the old classic. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that.
No, you can't. What I wanted to happen though was I catch a little small thing, and then I can use that as
Some bait.
because I know I've caught some bass in that pond before. I've caught some decent sized fish. It's not a very big pond, but they do replenish the fish in there. I think every single year, and
Dang.
lots of panfish, tons of panfish. But it was still a little cold, and I think that played a role into it. I couldn't really get out to the center of the pond where I thought the fish were hanging out because there was no fish on the edges of the pond. I mean, I walked the whole thing, and I didn't see a single fish besides the dead one. I saw a dead frog too. It was bloated. It was huge.
Oh my gosh.
It was missing its leg too. I think the fish were eating it.
Well then, I mean, did you go Saturday?
No, that would have been.
Because Saturday wasn't really a big bite. There wasn't much going on
I
Saturday.
think
It was a little cold for him.
I went on Friday. Saturday, I went to a sports card show. Bought myself some new sports cards,
Ooh.
hoping to make some money moves on them, get rich quick. I mean, that's the overall.
That's always the objective.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fun to collect cards too. It's a hobby of mine.
I mean, going into the week of spring break, just did some golf.
Oh, yep. I mean, we can't really do
Some
that over
golf.
spring break because it was so dang cold. I
Yeah,
have
we got-
golfed 2 rounds, I think, this year so far.
Yeah, we got 2 days of practice in. That was pretty good. And then just nothing much after that. Just a little bit of lifting. Gotta stay on the schedule. Can't miss a
Keep getting
day.
stronger.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll take you guys through my spring break a little bit. It wasn't nothing too crazy by any means, but basically, so first Friday, no school, obviously. Video games
Perfect.
all day. I mean, that's what you got to do. And then Saturday, what did I do that Saturday? I reckon I went car shopping with my mother. Didn't find anything that day though. And then Sunday, I went to church, worship the Lord.
East. Oh, that was Easter.
Well, we're students. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
I did some homework. I had to give a speech for my Southwest Tech class because I try to be as educationally inclined as I can. And I gave a speech about the 1919 White Sox scandal. Very, very good story there. Very sad story.
What happened there? I mean,
It was a gambling scandal. Some
Oh.
gamblers were threatening some players, so some players threw the World Series,
jeez.
and they never played baseball again.
Damn.
It was very sad. And then after that, I went car shopping with my mother on Tuesday, I believe. It was on Tuesday. And you're never going to guess.
Oh, you get a new car?
I got a new car, ladies and
Look at
gentlemen.
that.
2014 Chevy Malibu. It's a beautiful
Dang.
car. Very nice. Smells great. It's got that new car smell. It's not new. It's new to me. Very new to me.
Yeah, those are nice cars. I mean,
Actually, this
pretty
morning
luxury.
I was getting a little bit confused. Okay, I'm not. This is a little bit embarrassing for me, but I went and I put the car in drive, and I was driving down the road, and I was like, why the heck does my car feel like it's braking really hard, and I'm not even putting my foot on the brake? And I look down to I look down to my right, and sure enough, I had it in manual mode, and I mean, you don't really
my.
want that to happen. Good thing I wasn't going fast at all.
Yeah, you're gonna take first gear out of orbit.
But no, I was a little worried there for a second, but there wasn't any weird sounds made. It was just like you get up to 20 miles an hour and it just like automatically slowed me down.
You didn't hear the car going.
Well, that did play a role in it too. It was making a louder sound than it normally would.
He's just clapping off rev limiter down the street.
I know my mom listens to these. Mom, if you listen, since I know you're listening, that didn't actually happen.
Yeah, he's just joking.
That was just a joke. But after that, had baseball game Wednesday. We came up short, but Prairie.
Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, I heard.
Prairie's a good team. They're a good team, and we didn't play our best ball either. I won't lie. But you know, we're just looking. Once you lose the first game, there's only one way you can go. That's up, and that's what the baseball team intends to do this season.
From a player, I heard you guys would have had in the bag. We just dropped some routine pop
Yeah,
ball.
but too many errors, and
Yeah.
you know some of that comes from not being outside. You know, we weren't in an environment. Other of it just comes. Yeah, the short answer I can give you is there's no excuses. But
Yeah, I mean, beautiful day out today, April 2nd. I mean, amazing weather. I've never seen a better day. Probably best day of 2024, if I'd have to say.
yeah, this like today tops the early March that we had, 70 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
No, we like it. We like it 45 and raining.
Yep, it's been raining for about 2 days now, and it's so cold.
It is very cold. I'm wearing shorts actually right now.
And we're supposed to get snow tomorrow.
Snow day? Hopefully not, because I don't want to have to come to school for longer than I have to.
Yeah, I mean, we probably still have more snow days because we used
Well, I think we
2
only have
snow
like a half
days.
a day left.
That's like a half a day.
But and then after that, I did go to my father's for spring break.
Nice.
Didn't do a whole lot there. We got to watch Brewers opening day. I got to watch all 3 games. And did you see the Rhys Hoskins slide?
No.
Oh my gosh! If you haven't seen it, go look it up. Rhys Hoskins slid into second base in the Brewers. It was the Brewers' first game of the season, and he slid and he hit the second baseman with his cleat because the second baseman didn't get out of the way. And boy, was that second baseman angry. He was so mad.
I mean, hey, you gotta get out of the way, man.
Oh yeah, you gotta go. It wasn't an illegal slide or anything like that. Benches cleared. I mean, it was crazy. So some
pretty
crazy
crazy.
stuff happened. I actually saw something on my social medias the other day. It had said that so far this baseball season, we're 4 or 5 games in the season, there has been a gambling scandal this year, 3 benches clearing, and 1 suspension handed out already in 4 games. 4 days the MLB has been.
To be honest, I mean that just makes the game more interesting.
Yeah, it makes it more fun.
Like it's more enjoyable to watch. I'm not a big baseball guy. I don't really watch too much of it.
I mean,
but
I wouldn't not watch baseball if it didn't happen. I'd still watch baseball, but I mean, like the energy, you could just feel it. The game was already all the way in New York, and I could feel it in Wisconsin. And I think that's why hockey is so popular. I mean, just the fights that occur, they're so fun to watch.
that's probably my favorite part of hockey.
I mean, I don't really care when a team scores. I don't have a favorite hockey team because I don't really know anything about them. But boy, do I love to see a nice fist get thrown in the face of another player. You see the helmet pop off. The goalie fights are good.
Throws the gloves off and they're just brawling out there.
Bam, bam, or when they get them right here. Bam,
Oh, yeah.
Bam, bam.
Play a little NHL.
Oh yeah.
Big win for Wisconsin at the NCAA's wrestling finals. Parker Kekaizen took back a national title. Mitchell Mesenbrink took second. David Carr won from Iowa State.
Congrats to those guys if you're watching.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you on the podcast sometime. Absolutely. Gavin, we hadn't even talked about who wanted to be on the podcast this week.
Oh yeah, I mean, it has been crazy. The DMs have been just absolutely blowing up.
The first major one that I can think of is Optimus Prime, the Transformer.
Yeah.
Wants to be on our podcast.
He came alive from the movies and just was like, hey, first thing I want to do, be on the podcast.
Yeah, and Gavin, would you like to announce the other? We had 3 people this week. Would you like to announce person number 2?
Yeah, I could probably toss in there. LeBron James and Bronny wanted to make a double appearance.
We had to turn that one down though because we didn't want LeBron. We were okay with Bronny, but LeBron he's a little political, and this is supposed to be a fun podcast.
I mean, with that whole "You Are My Sunshine" meme going around, I don't know if we can have that here.
We just don't. We don't want to be associated with that right now. I mean, we're a fun podcast, but we're a serious podcast, and our podcast is very important to us, and we don't want our podcast to be discredited.
Only serious stuff on this podcast. I don't think we've ever had a time where we talked about just random stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then the third special guest that was going to come on here but wasn't available, Chief Deputy Walter Drazen. He was going to be on the podcast.
He was going to make an appearance, but he got busy on a call and
he's actually,
couldn't make it.
I believe he's like the head of investigation on a huge a drug bust. He wouldn't give me any details, but he is like the head. Like he's working with the FBI right now, and there must be something going on crazy in Grant County that he's focusing on.
He's locked in.
He's locked.
He's like Davis Clark, just locked in, ready for ready for some Google Forms.
And I mean, we'd love to have Walt on here sometime. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately he's busy. Even though he's so busy with his work, he does still find time every single morning though to
Yeah.
come in and greet the students. I mean,
Exactly,
not
I
only
mean-
he's a great cop,
Even
phenomenal community member.
Exactly.
Just a great person all around. Walt, if you're watching, shout out to Walt Drazen. I mean, you just gotta
Yeah.
shout him out real quick.
And then wrestling finals happened. That was pretty good.
March Madness basketball
March
too.
Madness,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh,
who
did you
won?
watch? They're,
It's not done yet?
I think we're on the Elite Eight right now, or the Final Four, one of the two.
All right.
But I was getting pretty hyped, and I was getting hyped, and then my hype was quickly saddened. A family member had asked me to make their bracket for them.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had wrote out the bracket, and I had made what I thought was an excellent bracket. And like 3/4 of the way through the first round,
Completely just.
no, I only had 2 wrong.
Oh dang.
The only ones I got wrong were Kentucky and Oakland and
Fair.
Drake and Nevada. Those are the only 2 I'd gotten wrong. And we were like destroying everybody else. Second round,
Dang.
I'd fallen off big time. It was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the real underdogs in this one that I'm hoping win it all. Let me double check. I want to fact check myself here. Make sure that they are still in because I haven't really been keeping up after the first
Is
2
that
rounds.
that big
Yeah,
that
DJ
tall white
Burns.
guy? Yeah.
I think it's NC State, but let me double check.
No, I don't think it's NC State. It's like a
No.
black and gold.
No, it is NC State. Yep, it is. Yeah, NC State beat Duke.
Damn. That was a big win.
Yeah, huge win. I mean, it's great to see an 11 seed come in and just pound on
Dominate,
on the 1s and 2s.
I mean, who do you got winning?
I have UConn winning. They're just an absolute powerhouse, and they literally have trailed for 28 seconds in the whole tournament. I mean,
Damn.
they're not used to losing, and I don't think that they intend to.
True. I mean, if they keep the ball rolling and just keep the energy high, you can't really lose. I mean, if you stay on the grindstone and just always working.
And since this is a Midwestern podcast, I think we have to talk about Caitlin Clark. I don't know if you watched the game yesterday.
No, I didn't watch it, but I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Caitlin Clark, Iowa phenom basketball player, going to get drafted in the draft first overall this year. And if anybody thinks that otherwise, they're wrong. They're definitely wrong. She's the greatest women's basketball player of all time, but she hasn't even stepped foot in the NBA. And 40 points yesterday. Not only 40 points, she also had 10 assists.
Damn.
So she was making buckets and dishing out assists. She's a great shooter and a great passer too. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that name quite a bit recently.
she's
And she's from Wisconsin?
no, she goes to Iowa. So I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's one of the few
Midwestern.
good things Iowa has.
Yeah.
The
Except for,
Dubuque Bridge is pretty nice. That's a good thing that Iowa
yeah.
has.
I mean, they got some corn too. That's pretty
A
much
lot
it.
of corn, tons of corn.
Not that cool of a place, but
But they got Caitlin Clark.
for sure doesn't top Wisconsin.
No, Wisconsin. I mean, it's
top
Mid-State.
Midwestern
right here,
state.
Boom, Wisconsin. Well, how can you make Iowa with your hand? You
Yeah,
can't.
like-
but boom, Wisconsin, right
Like,
here.
like what do you like? Do you just do this for
Yeah,
Iowa? Like no.
No, you can't do that.
Watch
what?
that. Watch that elevation.
But so I mean, we just March Madness. I mean, it's what it has been every year. It's madness.
It is madness.
Um,
You know what I thought was really cool with the NCAA's wrestling tournament was someone tallied it up in AWA. It's a big wrestling club.
isn't
in
it
Wisconsin.
Askren Wrestling Association?
Yes,
Or Academy.
I think it's Academy.
Academy. They're They're based in Heartland, right?
Yeah,
Heartland, so on the other side of Madison.
and they tallied it up, and all the kids that went there, like if AWA wrestled as a college team, they would have got fourth.
Oh wow! I mean, that's when you know that Mr. Askren,
Knows what he's doing.
He's doing something right. Definitely, he's stepped it up since losing to Jake Paul in a boxing match.
Yeah, I heard he's calling out more fighters, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Maybe he's calling out like Conor McGregor. I'd love to see a Ben Askren Conor
yeah.
McGregor match. That'd be good.
That'd be a tough fight.
I think Askren has the edge for sure, though, just being younger,
Probably.
more agile.
More limbo.
Ugh.
I think next podcast we're gonna have a pretty special guest
Very
that's
special
only
guest.
only here for a little bit
Yeah,
longer.
we'll tease them a little bit. Yeah, they're not gonna be around for too much longer.
Yeah.
That's what we'll say about that. We won't
Can't
really
disclose too much. It's a
Yeah,
surprise.
It's
I
a
mean,
surprise.
we'd hate to spoil it.
But
Speak.
we can't talk about
Oh,
that now. We're gonna have to cut that out. We can't talk about that. Casey Drazen's actually in the room right now.
Yeah,
He
our
said-
amazing
He
guest.
said he wanted to get in here and say a couple words real quick.
Casey Drazen said he'd
Casey,
love to come say
Please
another.
come over here, Casey. We wanted to talk to you about the prayer.
Hey, it's almost like when he was on the podcast, he was not a chance on talking.
Yeah,
Casey,
It's a
come
real
on.
shame.
We need some baseball input.
Reese has got it. He was doing game changer.
yeah. I was not. I was doing. the- And we're back.
Yep. Just had to say, just talk to
Give
Casey
Casey a
about
quick piece of our mind.
yeah his non-devotion to the podcast.
Not even just a podcast to the school. He's not really. It's sad to see somebody that goes to school and doesn't show their pride to the school.
The ego pride. I mean,
Yeah, he's got.
it's heartbreaking.
You want to know what kind of pride he's got? He's got jerk pride. He prides himself in being mean, and so.
I mean, any other sport, track. I don't
Track,
know. I don't know how
mean-
track's going
oh,
right
dude,
now.
Yesterday I was at baseball and we were doing the gym and I saw them doing like the craziest thing.
They're in the wrestling room quite a bit.
Oh yeah, they were doing some stretching there, but then they were like doing laps around the school. But what they were doing is they had a medicine ball and they had to pass it to the next person in between their legs and run to the back of the line. And there was like 80 of them in the line. It was really weird.
Dang.
But yeah, I'm sure track's off to a phenomenal start as they normally are. Obviously, you can't really be doing a whole lot out there. They have had a couple indoor meets, I know for sure.
We should try to get a track star in here and
Get a track. Well, our guest also a track athlete. We won't say again, but they are a track athlete.
wait, they are?
Yeah, they are. They are.
I didn't know that. That was a surprise to me.
So we'll get them on here to talk about track. Maybe some track. You never know.
Wonder who's all gonna commit still to schools. I think Evan Gratz hasn't made up his mind yet.
He hasn't made up his mind. Ian Krapp. Oh, Ian Krapp
Oh,
recently
Ian Krapp.
committed to Wartburg.
Yep,
Congrats, Ian.
Wartburg. Rachel Shower going to Wartburg
Rachel
as well.
Shower, yep. Tristan Stilt, still a junior,
Still-
but he's
still
been going
junior.
on visits. He went to an
Bucknell?
Ivy League school the other
Oh.
day. So I mean,
I didn't know Bucknell was.
yeah, Ivy League
League.
school. So I mean, if he gets to go there, I'm sure that he'll really get to show off how smart he truly is and how great he is. He's a dual threat. I mean,
Yeah.
great in the classroom and great in the wrestling room.
Yeah, I think Noah Mulvaney from Bucknell did pretty good at the NCAA's, but I'm not sure on how well.
I don't know who that is, but I'm sure he.
He was a big wrestler from Wisconsin. I think he went to, I want to say like Arrowhead, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Who else could I don't know. Maybe Wyatt Annan going somewhere to play some sports or a possibility.
I think I know where he's going, but I don't know if he's gonna go play for sports. I don't know. There's Bracy Nelson.
Gracie, no. I mean, if she doesn't go for, I assume she.
Yeah, I think she's going for basketball. Isn't she like?
Maybe go play with her sister. I don't know.
Oh,
Shout
that
out
could be.
Brinley Nelson.
Yep.
If you're listening. Getting a little bit of a headache. I won't
What's-
lie.
Mrs. Nelson, fourth grade teacher. It's not Mrs. Nelson's anymore.
Mrs. Hinkle.
Mrs. Hinkle. I forgot to know her first. Oh, Jerica. My neighbor. I always see Bracy and Brinley there almost
yeah.
almost every day. I mean, sometimes I drive by and I just see like them walking out.
My brother, older brother, does a lot of work on houses. He's worked for the Hinkles before. Tristan Ahmed does some great carpentry work.
Phenomenal carpenter. I
That
mean,
reminded me, over spring break, I guess my family is planning a trip here soon. We're gonna go. It's good. Hopefully it all makes it through, but a hunting trip. Oh yeah.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
I think we might be going to Wyoming.
A little elk hunting?
No,
Mule deer?
pronghorn.
Oh.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Pronghorn are in Wyoming?
Yeah, they're in Wyoming. It's one of the
Huh.
best pronghorn estates apparently. So
Dang, I thought it was only like...
pronghorn are the animal I'm really most eager to hunt. I'm looking forward to it. The downside is I might have to miss a football game to go. But hopefully we can make it work. I was talking to my coach. I think we can make it work pretty well where I don't miss a whole lot. Still useful to the team
Yeah.
on whatever I might be doing, but I'm really looking forward to the trip. You know, it's one of my dreams to shoot a pronghorn, so I definitely intend.
That'll be
to-
fun.
to
I
take
guarantee
one
that'll be
out.
fun.
Yeah.
You gonna go slate with a bow or
No.
gun?
Phew. Easier.
Yeah, true.
Bow hunting has not gone my way so far.
No. I finally got my bow set up. I just need to put my peep sight in and I'm good.
I've talked about my bow hunting on the podcast before, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm not inaccurate though. Let's just say that. I mean, I'm accurate enough to hit the animal.
Now, where on the animal is a different question.
Where is the animal? Is a good question.
Yeah. Did you just you said you double lunged it, you think?
No, I didn't double lung it, but
Like it should have went
first
down.
one I
there.
hit, I thought would have went down. Dude, the blood on both of the deers that I shot was insane. Like there was a ton of blood, and I just couldn't find them for the life of me. One of them was because I couldn't really go too far under.
Oh yeah,
the
you said
land.
you said you waited to go look for him.
Oh
too.
yeah, I waited on both of them.
Damn.
I had gone in the morning because my family wanted to do some stuff on the land in the afternoon, you know, move some stands and like cut up some trails. We went there afterwards, found blood, great amount of blood, like most of the way, then all of a sudden, boom, no more blood.
Maybe you just need to shoot some bigger broadheads. That could be it.
That maybe it
What
could
do you-
be. I'm using they're not mechanical, whatever not mechanical.
Fixed.
Yeah, fixed. I don't know the brand or anything like that. I bought them at Bender's Outdoors in Lancaster.
Probably
Shout
like-
out Bender's Outdoors if you want to sponsor the podcast. You're more
Yep.
than welcome to.
Be a great sponsor candidate.
I mean, should we talk about the sponsor opportunities that we've had to turn down?
Yeah, I mean, we can't really get sponsored because we're in school, you know.
Yeah,
It's a
it would ruin our
school-sanctioned
amateur
podcast.
status. We can't be sponsored, but the school can, and I think that
Yeah.
the reason I said that is because I think Bender's Outdoors would be a great local sponsor.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of corporations try
Like
and
Nike.
sponsor us.
Nike was up
Nike tried to
there.
sponsor us.
Under Armour.
They wanted us to, you know, their pitch to us was great. They were like, just do it,
Yeah.
and we were like, we'll talk to our.
Yeah, I got the Nike pants on today. They sent us some merch.
Yeah,
Just
but-
kind of see if we could sponsor it a little bit because they know that their fan base is watching this podcast.
And but we unfortunately we had to turn it down, and it's the reason sad. Our producer, we have our manager, Mrs. Annan, and we have our
Yeah.
producer, Mr. Roth. Mr. Roth just said we can't do it. And Nike's a little bit of a risky company, which I mean, he's the guy that does all the numbers. He does some great stuff here in the school. And,
Oh yeah.
so he knows what he's talking about, and I'm not going to argue against that. The one that really hurt me though when we had to turn it down was oh my gosh, I can't
Buc-ee's,
think.
or,
It wasn't Buc-ee's. It was they made shoot.
Quite a bit. I mean, McDonald's is there.
No, McDonald's is up there. We just turned them down though because they have a very poor food philosophy, and we're big into healthy foods. But the one that I was really hurt that we had to turn down was Cold Stone Creamery.
That was tough.
That was tough.
I shed a little tear after that.
Mhm.
I was like, as soon as he told us we can't do it, I was pretty sad. I mean, a tear rolled down my face.
We ultimately made the decision that that they weren't what our podcast needed.
Yeah, I mean, Crumble
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Crumble Cookie was up there. Just we can't promote that
It's-
unhealthy food.
Yeah, it's the same reason. Like, they don't share the same values as us. Like we said, this podcast is very important to us. Hence why we didn't have LeBron James on here. LeBron James just doesn't match our value system. We want to be on here. We want to communicate what's going on in the world to you guys, and we want to have fun. LeBron James on the podcast, that can happen because he's in the media way too much, so much, and he isn't good for the internet. He wouldn't be good for this podcast. You can see our viewership go from like 39 million to like 27 million. It just go down significantly, and we can't risk that.
Like, our numbers are still climbing. Like, we're almost at PewDiePie level, and LeBron James would really take a big chunk out of our viewers.
Absolutely, and
That's why we got to keep it biased with finding more students.
and that's what we don't want to be. We want the local companies to sponsor us just because that's part of what we're all about. We like local. We like our town.
Yeah.
You know, we're here to do our own thing and just enjoy our time here at school. And we don't want to get too wrapped up in the money and the.
Like Speedy Mart.
Yeah,
For sure, we'd take
Speedy
that in a
Mart.
heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely. Speedy Mart,
Heartbeat.
Fredericks.
I would wear a Speedy Mart shirt every day.
One that is local, but it's not here all the time. Jose's Taco Truck.
Oh my gosh.
I would buy like.
So
oh my
good.
gosh. We should do a
So
mukbang
good.
sometime with
We
Jose's.
should. We should.
That'd be good.
I think all the viewers would love that for us
Yeah.
to just.
Sit here and. No, well, we will get that set up next time Jose's is in town.
When?
But my favorite thing, I don't know.
They need to come back. I feel like it's been forever.
They were
since
here They were here a few weeks ago. But my favorite thing to get there is the steak quesadilla, drenched in queso.
I like to get the steak burrito,
The steak burrito is also
drenched in
good.
queso, and it's like this big, like no joke, this big,
Yeah.
and it is so unbelievably good.
So, we're just gonna put that out there. Any big corporations, stay away from us unless you're Wisconsin. Kohl's. I would love for Kohl's to sponsor us. Great Wisconsin
Yep.
business.
I mean, I know you guys are struggling, so it'd be a help to you guys.
Yeah. But
A lot of money to be made.
any local businesses that want to come, I would say just Grant County area, maybe a little bit of Crawford. Nah, probably not.
Yeah,
Crawford.
Matt Crawford's
Not
kind of off the
Crawford.
board.
Maybe some of Iowa County. I'd be down.
Yeah, yeah.
Reach out to us.
Roll route. We can get that.
Oh, roll out one.
I could talk to Car Valley. We can.
So we're gonna end the podcast here in a second, but something we need to talk about and address. Grab a cone.
Yes.
Let's just tell the
What
viewers
the
happened.
heck?
A intoxicated driver drove in to our beloved ice cream shop.
Right to the front.
Right to the front.
Right to the
Huge
front.
door. Very. I mean, it's a tragedy that
Yeah,
happened.
it's very sad.
It's very.
But now listen to this. They are rebuilding better than ever. They used all that insurance money. They're redoing the entire front of the shop, and I think some of the back.
Yeah, and I think my brother told me that it's also becoming a drive-through.
No way.
Do you not know what happened with the car?
Oh, come on, come on.
I had to.
That was good, that was good. You
Yeah,
got
no,
me on
it's
that
it's a
one.
tragedy that happened. I don't understand why people need to be so selfish. I mean, that's the word to describe it. That person was just being selfish and rude.
I mean, it is Wisconsin.
Yeah, it is Wisconsin, but I'm not gonna
Top,
get in.
like, we have like 5 of the drunkest counties in the entire state, like entire United States.
But still, I mean, it's a shame that it happened. Hearts out to the people over at Grab a Cone, and I think that'll wrap it up for us today, Gavin. Normally we
Yeah.
rate our viewers at this time, but we don't have any. We can rate ourselves. I give myself a 10.
Yep, always a 10.
I'm a 10.
Have a happy, handsome Tuesday, and
Like, subscribe, notifications somewhere.
leave a comment
up in here.
about what.
I don't know
leave
if
a comment
comments are
about.
turned on, but leave a comment about what you want us to talk about
Yeah.
on the next podcast.
Oh yeah, tell us if you want us to do the mukbang.
Oh yeah, let us know about the mukbang, because we'd be willing to hit you guys with a little bit of mukbang action, especially if it was Mexican food. It'd be so
100%,
good.
100%.
But
That'll be all for today.
yeah, thank you for watching. This
See you guys
edition
next time.
of the Fly High Podcast.